Today is November 7th, 2021. This is Mordecai, host of the updates, bringing you your daily Elden Ring update. There is some news about Elden Ring today. We have now gotten some more fine details about the game today in form of its specifications. These are not system requirements, to be clear, rather it's information about the different resolutions and frame rates the game will run at. The information comes from the Bandai Namco Europe's website itself. Alright, let's start with the PC version of Elden Ring because that's the simplest. On PC, the maximum resolution goes up to 4K and the game will run up to 60 FPS. So pretty much like Dark Souls 3 so far. It's not surprising to see the 60 FPS cap, but if you recall, Sekiro had an unofficial FPS unlock mod, but we shall see whether someone can make something like that for Elden Ring. The PC version also supports HDR and Raytracing. For those that don't know, HDR stands for High Dynamic Range, and it's used for TVs or monitors that can differentiate between colors that are very close to each other. And RTX on the other hand, or Ray Tracing, as the name implies, traces simulated rays of light to where you can get a more accurate representation of how light bounces off other objects. It says it'll be supported via patch, so it may not be there right now, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's all we know for PC. System requirements are not out yet sadly, but this is solid info regardless. Next up, the different PlayStation versions. All PlayStation editions will support HDR if you have a compatible TV or monitor. For PS4, the max resolution will go up to 1080p and the frame rate will go up to 30 FPS. For PS4 Pro on the other hand, the resolution goes up to 1800p checkerboard, meaning it's not native at that resolution. Finally, the PS5 version of Elden Ring will go up to 4K resolution, 60 FPS, and it will also support ray tracing. However, it will only support 60 FPS with performance mode, which adjusts resolution and load balancer to approach that 60 FPS target. If you choose resolution mode, it will lower the limit to 30 FPS instead, so you get a higher resolution. So it's probably either 4K 30 FPS with ray tracing or 1860 FPS on the PS5. And as a final note on PlayStation, the PS4 version save file can carry over to the PS5 version save file, but not vice versa. Though PS4 players will be able to play with PS5 players since they both share the same servers. On to the Xbox versions now. On the Xbox One, Elden Ring's resolution will go up to 900p and up to 30 FPS. Since it's not even 1080p, it's probably the worst resolution and performance you will see the game run at. The Xbox One X, however, will go up to 4K and 30 FPS with HDR support. Then onto the current gen Xboxes. Xbox Series S will go up to 4K, 60 FPS with HDR support. And Xbox Series X will be the exact same but with ray tracing support added on. Both current gen Xbox consoles, like the PS5, will only have 60 FPS on performance mode and the highest resolution on the highest resolution mode. So that about wraps it up for each individual console's performance specs. As a final note here, it states that there are differences in the display of grass and other ground objects depending on the console, which makes sense, and we'll see it for ourselves this upcoming week. And speaking of, if Digital Foundry get their hands on the network test, I'm sure they'll have a very detailed video up on Elden Ring's performance on consoles. We will have to wait a while to see how the game performs on PC and what its system requirements are. The link to this page with all the performance details are in the description if you'd like to read it yourself. But I hope you'd found this overview to be helpful. As a reminder, tomorrow is Judgment Day, where we'll find out if we got into the network test or not, at least in the US and Japan. So, best of luck everyone. Anyway, this has been your daily Elden Ring update for November 7th, 2021.
This can't be happening!